Welcome, guys, to another anime review. This one's going to be on Rewrite's second season, episode 14. Now, it's not Rewrite Moon and Terra, it's just Rewrite the second season, and so it's counted as episode 14. Now, if you can't already tell from my voice, I was extremely hyped for this episode. Like, as soon as I knew there was going to be a second season, I was relentlessly anticipating it. Like, I know that they have the first season, the first 13 episodes, they weren't adapted properly. But it did try to do some important things, and I think the writer, due to the production time and just the producer in general having to rush them, we got the half-assed story that was the first 13 episodes with an original ending, but they rushed things. They could have just left out some of the mystery and just like put in some anime original stuff that made sense, but I don't know. I don't know how the anime industry works or how the producers are doing things, but I don't know, something along the lines of corporate meddling or something like that. But with the advent of this new season for the first episode of the second season, episode 14, I have a feeling that they are on the right track if this first episode is anything anywhere to believe. It got out information in a very good lengthy way, with like animated scenes and information and exposition that made sense, because in this part of Rewrite it's mostly talking, and then you get the entire conclusion of that, then you get to Terra. So what I'm saying is this episode literally blew me out of the water. I had feels, like I had the feelings. I know that the original season, the first 15 episodes, it wasn't anything special, but I knew the characters and all that, so it kind of got me emotional during the final episode. But this, they were showing some very important scenes in the different routes of the visual novel that I remember, and I could just feel the emotion, especially with the voice acting, and with the music playing in the background heightened that. So I was literally like, my eyes were getting kind of watery, I have to admit. And I was really feeling it. Like, I got a lump in my throat. I was just like, oh my god. With the scenes of Kotaro remembering, his past memories, and basically him saying that he must have been reborn a million times, like many times, because these memories don't add up, like how he married Kotori, or like the different adventures and stuff that he had. And what really added on to this was that the pacing of this episode didn't feel as rushed as the first season was. I'm guessing they have more leeway this time, and the Moonrise really isn't that long in the visual novel, but it's very chock full of information and character development for Kotaro. Oh, sorry, my code isn't gone yet, so. And Kagari. And I like it. I like the choice that they did for the opening song, which is basically, I think, a variant or some sort of remix or arrange. I haven't played the visual novel forever. Of the title screen you get when you first start the visual novel, you got your menu options, start, load options, and CGs and all that. And the ending song, I don't believe I've heard it. I may have heard it, but I have not heard the soundtrack for the game in a long while. But you have also like the scenes where Kotaro is also trying to communicate with Kagari, the key. But I'm just gonna say that because I don't want to spoil anything. And it's just very hilarious to see the different ways he tried to get her attention, and we see the different methods of him dying, whether it's getting his heart ripped out and crushed, or it's like getting decapped, or him like his head exploding, and all sorts of crazy nonsense. And we see his true nature. Like after all this, after all of his like efforts aren't working, he basically breaks down, and we basically get to see the real Kotaro. He doesn't want to be alone. He started up the occult club for all that. He wanted to be surrounded with people. He wanted to be someone in someone's life. And he says like he's a nobody, that he's always alone, that he just wants to be left alone, and that the best thing to probably happened to him, he doesn't say it outright, is that he keeps on getting killed over and over and over again, so he wouldn't have to think, and he just relive all the happy memories and all the exciting memories that made him someone who's needing to rely on him. And in the very first scene of the anime, of the episode, we get to see Kotor basically saying, you're not kind and all that, you're cold, you're unsociable and all of that. And we get to see that part show up here when he has that little breakdown and he starts crying, and when he wants to die and all of that. And at the end of this, I really got the feeling that since the route is so short, they have an easier time of adapting it. And I heard that they got a new animator on Twitter. I follow the Japanese Twitter account, and then there's like all these other key fan groups are talking about how they got a new animator, and I'm like, okay, so they got a new animator, and I look at them. There was like a quick sketch what the new animator did of Kotaro, and it looks pretty good. And you could tell that the animation quality in the second season, just from the first, is 1,000 times better. Like the faces are more detailed, more defined. There are a lot of like less odd looking things, and the way in the atmosphere that the director is doing it with the music and the scenes, it might seem a bit fast, a bit abrupt, but basically the transitions were sort of like that in the visual novel, where you had him going in different places, seeing different things, and with a brief commentary on it, and he switches to another scene where he does that walking around, and I like how they did the different scenes, like basically just hammering home the point, and he basically explains what exactly happened in the first 13 episodes of the first season. For any of you still confused about what the hell salvation was, basically, Shizuru basically said that in like, the very first scene after she basically snipes the key and says ruin and just snipes. Yeah, that will happen. Ruin happened in episode 13. Shizuru confirms it. We see that happening with Shizuru hugging Kotaro for him, And basically, it's a very interesting concept. Like this episode explains so many things that it couldn't have. They didn't do in the first 13 episodes. Like there were hints there and there. People still couldn't figure out 2 and 2. And so this episode basically just clarifies all that. I'm not throwing shade on anyone who doesn't have the capability to put 2 and 2 together. I think it's more like a problem solving thing. Like if you go to English class or whatever, and you high school, middle school, or I don't know, they do that in college. Still a junior. But the thing is that it's just basic problem solving. It's like if you give 5 bananas to the monkey and you have 10, how many do you have less? But the monkey takes an additional 3. It's just like what just happened. It's just I don't know. It feels kind of weird to me that people still couldn't piece things together. But hopefully this episode clears things up with people who hate the first season, because I think they pour all their all their resources into the second season. I think the Blu-ray that's coming out is going to rectify some of the animation errors that they made in the first season, and hopefully it gets like an English release here, because even though it was subpar, I still enjoy the series, the adaptation to a certain extent. It's not perfect. There are obvious glaring issues, but I think that they did a okay job at adapting things, especially since they took an anime original ending instead of trying to, but they could have just adapted a regular route. But in order to have Rewrite fully fleshed out, they needed like 24, 26 episodes for the first season. And I'm going to guess that with the first and second season combined, it's going to be essentially 2 cores, so basically 26 episodes. But I'm guessing this is where all their cash and all their effort has been poured in, right? Hopefully. I like the first episode gives me hope that this is going to be adapted at least decently. I mean, I didn't really feel like the first episode was rushed. I haven't played the visual novel in forever, so there might be some people who will be like, they left this out. Stop being such picky little dipshits and just enjoy the adaptation. I enjoyed the adaptation. I played the visual novel. This first episode had me entranced. Like I didn't look at the timer and says how many minutes are left in the episode. Like when it was nearing the end of the episode, I checked because it felt like it was going to be the end. I was like, oh my god, no, this episode has to get longer. And I think they could have probably ended the route, like the entirety of the moon route, almost entirely if they did like a 1 hour special in the second episode. But I think the way they're drawing it out is just to get you more hyped for what's going to happen. Now that's just my opinion on it. Don't flame me for that. But yeah, I really enjoyed the first episode, the new season of Rewrite. I don't know about you, but I did. So what are your thoughts on it? Leave a comment down below. And I'm about to end this review right now. That's about all I can really say. I'm really excited. Oh my god. Oh, I'm just gonna calm down a bit. I don't want my cough to come back and you just hear me hacking and dying on the video. But yeah, Ryomu here. I'm gonna be signing out for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Show your support for the channel by leaving a comment down below, whether it's just to talk about the episode in general or just say hi. Or say first, once you get a certain sizable number of people following you, that's gonna happen. I am first in this video. Maybe that's just the chance. More of the trolls, or just the people who want attention. I don't know. But leave a comment down below. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the video as well, since it gets more word around. People who are interested might want to check on the channel as well. And if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter. I do updates on the channel. I basically retweet things I find funny or I like, especially if there's like an anime coming out or if it's Rewrite. Like I retweet like the pictures and all this stuff in that they post there. It says, hey, let's get hyped for this. And you can also hang out with me and talk on Twitter. Just tweet me some funny stuff. So that's about it. I'll be signing out now. Ryomu out. See you all later in the next video. Bye. See ya. Why did I do that 2 times? Whatever. But I'm ending the video now. See ya.